Our bodies are prisons for our souls. Our skin and blood, the iron bars of confinement. But fear not. All flesh decays. Death turns all to ash. And thus, death frees every soul.
This is Vongasphalt and welcome to the BK Lowdown, episode 2. Wow, I got into riding because I had a lot of time on my hands. I moved from Paris, France to Dallas, Texas, and I didn't know a single soul. And I thought it would be fun to try to ride a Harley in the sunset. So I took the MSF course and got my first bike, a Sportster, and started to ride on my own. And for like 4 years I just rode on my own until I moved to New York and started to ride a little bit more after that. I think I like to ride far and fast. I never say I ride hard because there's always going to be someone that rides harder than you. But definitely I like to put on the miles, I like to go places, and I like to go pretty fast. Alright, so in terms of upgrades, we're gonna start from the top and go all the way to the end. So first would be Memphis Shade World Warrior fairing with the handguard and the Moon's MC Fly Eye, as well as Moon's MC LED bar, which saved my ass a couple of times on the back roads in Utah and Colorado. And so yeah, these are the Lindell Crown Cut routers. Look pretty amazing. I also powder coated the wheels in black because I think it just looks better with the routers. IMZZ crash bar and Invisivin to take away the VIN that looks fugly on the frame. These are the Lucky Dave Lucky 13 in 13-inch, as well with the Moon's MC Vans grip. Legend suspensions on the front end. These are I think these are Harley delete gauges. Just makes it all black. Looks much better. I'm just trying to black out the bike as much as I can. These are from IMZZ. Same, they come in black. And I powder coated this in gloss black also. Next, D&D Bobcat exhaust. That one is the only thing that was on the bike when I got it. I didn't choose it, but I think it's a really good exhaust. I would definitely recommend it. slow motorsport mini floorboards, like really good upgrade if you want to put in long miles. This is a bunking passenger crash bar. You can see it's been used a few times. These are the Legend Revo A suspension in 14-inch. Really good upgrade as well for the long miles. Yeah, so right now it's a stage 2. That's an SNS air cleaner. And I redid the cam chest recently with fueling cams. The 543. Really good cams, a lot of power on the top end is exactly what I needed. That one of the biggest upgrade in terms of comfort for the miles is the Salomon step up. This one is a little bit different because it was customized by Bornscam. You can see their logo here. One of the most important upgrade for sure, I would recommend. These are the Thrashing Supply Escape bags, so they're the biggest one they have. I like them, they're pretty good. And they come with an additional layer to make them waterproof, which is a big improvement versus the smaller one they had. So pretty good bags. Probably one of the things I get asked the most, this is a kicker part CC bar. You can find them on Instagram. It's handmade, custom made in Arizona. Absolutely recommend these dudes. They're pretty awesome and they're worth supporting for sure. Yeah, with the 110 it overheats pretty fast, so these are the love jugs that just sends a lot of air to the hottest points of the engine. I absolutely recommend this for the streets of New York or any city with traffic, especially if you're running 110. And these are the Scott Performance wire plugs. My stock wire plugs failed when I was doing 4,000 miles in 4 days, so I'm pretty happy with that upgrade. I know now it's safe. Well, usually I listen to a lot of classic rock, black metal, death metal, thrash metal, heavy metal, metal generally. A lot of US rap as well. Quite varied mix, to be honest. A lot of Lana Del Rey. But like, if I have to put it in a nutshell, oh yeah, also a lot of synthwave. Quite a lot of that actually, especially if I ride at night. Yeah, recently I've been listening to even more black metal than I used to because of the new Lexin J16. Like the power is pretty good, so it allows me to listen to very aggressive and intense music and still get the details. So I'm actually stoked that now I can listen to much more black metal than I used to in the past. I would definitely say that you need to set it up properly first. I think like a stock Dyna like mine used to be a couple of years ago, I would never be able to put the miles I've been putting on it. So definitely prepping the bike, making a lot of changes is paramount. And then I guess endurance, you have to work on that a little bit. Like I wouldn't try to go like crazy distances at first and just work your way to big miles. That's a $1,000,000 question. I've recently ridden quite a lot of baggers, few street glides, couple road kings too. I like these bikes. They're actually much funnier than I thought they would be. But right now, for what I do and the aesthetics I'm looking for, I think the Dyna, and this Dyna, is perfect for me. So I don't see myself trending it up at any time soon. So currently I am the fastest coast to coast with ride 1K in a day. So I did Atlantic to Pacific Ocean in 46 hours in January, which was an added challenge. And I also own the record for most miles in 24 hours. I did 1,700 miles in 23 hours and 58 minutes specifically. And up until a few days ago, I was technically the fastest Harley on that track too, but the record just got much better through, so yeah, just two. By far it was when my brother and my parents and I were riding together in Monument Valley and actually all over Utah a couple years ago. It was a big memory for me because I had convinced my parents and my brother to fly all the way from France to Las Vegas to rent bikes and ride with me. And I was riding this bike and yeah, it couldn't have been better than that. Just seeing my family in the rearview mirror as I was leading them through these monuments, it was pretty awesome. Wow, that's a big one. The PCH definitely is there. But really, if there's one overall, I would say Utah. I think Utah is very much underrated. I've been lucky enough to be introduced to a lot of amazing routes over there by Rhino and a bunch of other dudes on Instagram. And I would say, yeah, if there's one place I would recommend going, it would be Utah. All the canyons and everything are amazing. It's not boring. It's always an adventure, like it really is. I mean, whether it's just a fun ride or you're commuting somewhere, no ride is ever the same. It just changes constantly. You always have to be on top of your game. And if you're not, you get reminded very quickly that you better be. So that's kind of what I like in New York. You really need to be bringing your A game, especially if you want to ride fast and if you want to have a bit of fun. In terms of aesthetics, my influences are mostly coming from like the black metal world. Try to get something dark, to get something that is classic in some ways. So I didn't really have so much motorcycle influences or motorcyclists influences. I wanted my bike to be aggressive, I wanted it to be dark, I wanted it to stand out with a few details. So yeah, it was more of a mindset and an overall sense of aesthetics than a specific person that influenced me. Even though obviously you could say that, yeah, it's club style influenced, so definitely there's a lot of people doing that on internet and they do it very well. But I think what I was going after was more of a mood and a feeling rather than something else. It's very different. I mean, Paris is the same kind of jungle that New York is. I would actually say it's even worse because the streets are much narrower and there's much more two wheels on the streets with a lot of scooters, etc. So it's very, very crowded. There's a lot of traffic. It's very intense. Outside of Paris, it's beautiful, especially the southeast of France. All the Riviera are some of the best roads I've ever been on. And I'm lucky enough that when I go back, my family has a house there. So I can rent a bike and just cruise across the Riviera, and yeah, it's always an amazing time. Future plans, I mean, I've been away from New York for a couple months now, so I'm actually glad to just be back and see everybody and ride upstate, ride in Long Island, ride in the area. So the future plans for now is actually to just reconnect with New York and do a lot of miles over there in the season. Then in terms of travels, most likely a good trip, a couple weeks trip in the summer with you actually. And then there's always these, you know, opportunities, or just waking up in one day and say, hey, let's do 1K, let's go somewhere, blast and come back. Sometimes it just happens. I'm sure it will keep on happening and there'll be a couple more 1K at some point along the line this year. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope to see most of you on the road. I hope you ride fast and I hope you ride far. And FXDLS Brooklyn is out.